There's a famous quote attributed to the Dalai Lama, the great Buddhist leader, where he said, "If you want others to be happy, practice generosity. If you want to be happy, practice generosity." The same could be said of tzedakah. Tzedakah is our Hebrew word for both generosity, but also justice. And the idea is that within a just society, within a righteous society, we give, we are generous, we share our resources. And in fact, we do so not simply because it makes us feel good, but because it helps build a society where people can thrive. In Judaism, the moral health of a society is judged by the condition of its most vulnerable. And tzedakah, the pursuit of justice, giving, is our way of helping create that society. Tzedakah is a core Jewish value. In fact, Maimonides, the great rabbi of the Middle Ages, said that a Jewish community that does not practice tzedakah, that is, that does not have a collection that is distributed to the poor and used to buy food and provide educational supplies for those in need, a Jewish community that doesn't practice tzedakah is probably not truly Jewish. That is a core part of our identity. And so how do we live that value today? How do we practice tzedakah? Well, one part is simply giving, being generous. That means maybe every week we set aside a few dollars to, if we have an allowance, if we're a young teenager, setting aside part of our allowance for charity, for giving. If we are capable, we can give more. We can contribute every year to different organizations and to people in need. We do so because we know it matters. We know it helps. We can also try to be giving in everything we do. When we can afford to help out a friend in need with a loan or a gift, we do so. We're not reckless about it. Jewish tradition actually teaches that you shouldn't give more than 20% of your income, lest you give so much that you deprive yourself. That we shouldn't be excessive. We don't need to be martyrs, but we should give. And we should give as much as we can within appropriate limits because it helps create a just society. And we all depend on each other. We're an interdependent society, and tzedakah marks that and honors that and shows that. The most famous text from the Torah on tzedakah is in the book of Deuteronomy, where it says, "Tzedek, tzedek tirdof," which means justice, justice shall you pursue. And the Jewish sages asked a question, why the repetition? Shouldn't it just say, "Tzedek tirdof," justice you shall pursue? And they gave a variety of answers. One said, within your own personal life, within your family and your community, pursue justice, give tzedakah, help others in need. And also within the wider society, within wider humanity, pursue justice, help others in need. Another interpretation said that within the Jewish community, pursue justice. So help out the Anti-Defamation League, work to support Israel. And then in the wider community, the Universalist community, America, the world, practice tzedakah and generosity. That was another interpretation. But perhaps the simplest and easiest is we say tzedek, tzedek tirdof. We say the word tzedek twice for emphasis, to recognize how important a value it is. There's another teaching that says you should give enough tzedakah. You should give tzedakah to a beggar. This teaching comes out of the 18th century where people would beg on streets. And you should give enough tzedakah to a beggar so that the beggar, him or herself, can also give tzedakah, which from an economic point of view is inefficient. Why not just give directly to the person in need? But you should give enough to someone who really needs tzedakah so that they can also give tzedakah, because tzedakah is a habit. The habit of giving is one that matters. The amount doesn't matter as much as the habit. So practicing it, $1 a week, a couple dollars a week, doing what we can creates that impulse, that habit of generosity, which has been part of the Jewish community for so long. And I can think of so many examples of people who were given some tzedakah when they came here. I think of There was a man who lived in my previous community, and when he came to the United States, he was given a job by another member of the congregation. He was a refugee from Germany in the 1930s. He had no money, and he was given a job working at a furniture store from someone in the congregation. And he eventually started his own furniture store and was very successful. And he remembered that first job that was given by someone in the community. And because of that, he himself contributed tzedakah, several $1,000,000, to the construction of a new synagogue. So that one act of tzedakah in the 1930s from another member of the synagogue helped sustain the synagogue decades and decades into the future. We never know what impact our giving, our tzedakah, will have. So we need to take those opportunities, because tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue.